Do like introductions and shit.
Um, I feel like I'll introduce you guys, or maybe you want to introduce yourself. How you want to do? How you want to do that?
I liked it better when
I,
you introduced me.
I feel like say our names and then let us like say something and then yeah.
And we gotta do this low key.
All right.
I'm not saying. I'm not good at that.
I'm gonna introduce Alex last so he can talk. That's how I'm gonna
Thank you.
do it. All right. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us today. This is Canceled. I'm your host and moderator, Milverton Saints. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Everything's Milverton Saints. Right here, I've got as our guest, Wakandre, aka Afronauts Beats, aka Lotus Black, aka a bunch of other shit. And Nina Monet. Find her on wildwildfonts.com. And the special guest of today, the very important person, Alexander Velez,
Oh
official
my
A Velez.
gosh.
Take it away. Just introduce
I
yourself.
wasn't expecting this. Okay. Well, hello everyone. My name is Ava Les,
Here.
aka the baddest Boppy. And I would like to, thank you guys, first of all, for watching Ava Les and Friends. Um, I just, I hope you guys just enjoy this episode and just like bask in like all of the
All right, we're gonna go ahead and edit all
awesomeness.
that shit out. We're gonna edit all that out.
You ain't doing shit, Michelle.
Yo, how
Yo,
long have you had? How long have you
man,
had Ava Les and friends in the cut? Cuz how long you had that shit in the pocket?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, no lie, I was thinking about this all day. I was like, how am I going to introduce myself? Oh, I didn't finish. Can you let me finish? The fuck? Okay, so I'm Ava Les, actor, recording artist, activist, entrepreneur, philanthropist, humanitarian, kindness giver, brother, son, um, just an overall, just
did Alex win
amazing
something?
person.
He's giving a fucking award speech and shit.
Yeah, get one of those poppers.
Bitch, I will close. Wait, how do I meet people?
That's how the hole got there, cuz.
Poppers before we start.
First of all, they don't know about the whole. Let's just leave that. Okay, I guess I'm finished because y'all want to be fucking rude. But okay.
Okay, so today's topic includes Alex, and we've covered that already. Now we're gonna move on to. I shouldn't laugh. It's serious shit.
Oh
Um,
wait. Oh,
yeah, no, it's serious shit.
we can edit
Uh,
that out, right? Hold on.
yeah, hold on.
Damn. Don't know how to do this.
Stop. I can't. Stop. Okay, maybe we should switch the topic. 'Cause I can't. Hold on. Okay. That's gonna
You
be
know, first we
edited
want to talk
out.
about
So.
sports. Okay?
We're gonna talk about sports.
Yeah, we're talking about sports again.
She just cut her camera off because
I like
No, you need to
sports.
fix your shit.
I like sports for like 3 years of my adult life. You know, I was in a, I was in the military, and like I look like a sports guy. And, people come up to me like, "Hey, how about?" I was at Matt Ryan. And I was like, "Yeah, man, that boy crazy." And yeah, just don't care about sports. Okay, we're actually talking about Michael
I don't,
Jackson.
I don't even know.
Michael Jackson's allegation, recent allegations, reopened by Wade Robson, a guy who in I want to say it was 2008 or 2006 or five. I don't have the date down, but he when Michael Jackson was accused back then, Wade Robson on trial said Michael and him have never had sexual contact, and he has throughout his entire life said that Michael hadn't done anything to him. He was a great friend and everything. In 2013, May 2013, he sued the Jackson estate. The estate was found not guilty because you can't sue an estate for what an individual did. Now there's I want to say it's a Netflix documentary coming out with Wade Robson and another man who are accusing Michael, saying that he molested them several occasions. Robson even says that there was never a time, and never a night where he stayed with Michael that he wasn't abused. And there's people that are coming around saying that he's delusional, he's broke, he wants money. He thought he would be the dance successor to Michael's career, and that's the reason why he always defended him. He wanted to be like the next Michael Jackson after Michael's passing, and he realized that his career was failing and he never reached Michael Jackson's status, so he decided to come at Michael Jackson and tarnish his legacy. Who wants to take it from there?
I'd also like to point out that there was an article that came out recently that said there was a bunch of child pornography that Michael Jackson was found to have been in possession of, like hours and hours of video and stuff. So I think that was also a part of this new information that's coming forward about him.
Jeez. See, I remember when they said they were going through his this is like back when I was in high school or something. When they were going through his home, they said they found a lot of, like Nation of Islam books, Black Power stuff, and nude art books of children, and it was passed off as art. So that's the only thing I've ever heard about that. But the pornography, the videos, that's new to me. Do you guys feel like Michael's innocent, guilty?
I would say when I was younger, because those allegations been out since like what, the late 90s, like early 2000s, I think.
Early 90s.
Early 90s, yeah. When I was younger, I did have a hard time believing it, only because I felt like that was some shit that just I couldn't even like imagine, especially because like I listened to Michael, and Michael was somebody that was always like in my childhood, like in terms of like music videos and like radio and shit. So I don't know, it was always hard for me to believe that. And I remember in 2000, it was like I think he had like his second or third trial in like the early 2000s, and I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
And obviously I didn't really know shit. Like I was just going off the fact that he was Michael Jackson, and I just couldn't believe that he would do that. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was one of those people that didn't believe it. But now, now that I'm an adult, and now that we have the internet and we can like research our own shit, it's just yeah. Now I can actually like believe like what happened, because it's just too many. There was too many arrows. Like it was like it's too much. Like it'll be different if there was like maybe one like shred of evidence, but like the fact that they actually found like art, child, whatever the fuck, like it's just, and looking back at it, it does make sense now. So yeah, I would definitely say I do believe it now. Yeah.
Right.
When I first heard the allegations about Michael Jackson, it was pretty like understood and accepted around me that he had done the things that he was accused of.
Yeah.
I grew up hearing that Michael Jackson was a pedophile. And then I do recall hearing that I guess some of the allegations had been recanted, and that the victims had said that they had been forced to make the statements that they made. And it was just one of those things where everyone around me stopped. I was a kid, I was a teenager, and all the adults around me stopped talking about it, and the narrative changed.
Right.
And so I understood that the narrative had changed, that it had been disproven or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I always was kind of curious, like whenever like I would see people start like in the last like eight or so years, when I've heard people talking positively about Michael Jackson, I always think about how like negatively he was talked about and how everyone was like, he's a pedophile. And I'm trying to figure out like when it changed, and like, do we actually know that's not the case, or did people just stop talking about it? Because you look at the R. Kelly situation, and people made it seem like R. Kelly had been exonerated, but R. Kelly was never exonerated. We always knew R. Kelly was a child rapist, and people just stopped talking about it, and it just became cool to celebrate R. Kelly again. So I just always wondered if it was a thing where he was actually innocent, or if people just stopped caring and went back to celebrating him.
I would say that's definitely something that kind of like the fact that the victims recanted, and now as an adult, I can look back at it and be like, okay, like that makes sense. Just because they recanted doesn't mean that it didn't happen. But back then, when they did recant it, it was like, okay, like, you know, they were using him for money. That's what came to my head, and I guess that was just me trying to like make it seem like it didn't happen, pretty much. So that definitely, yeah, when they recanted, I feel like that affected a lot of people's views on it.
For me, my story with it has been kind of weird because like I've kind of flip flop on it. I didn't really give as much of a fuck about somebody's status, like as far as like, oh, because this person did this great shit, that means that they couldn't have done this thing. But I also felt like niggas be lying sometimes. So initially, I didn't really believe that shit. But then when I got older, and like I don't know, I knew the nigga was weird.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
He was odd in some ways.
Yeah.
I understood that like he was robbed of a childhood. I understood that he was robbed of a childhood, so I understood why some of the actions that, you know, like people always looked at and said like that's a reason why he probably did those things. Like they kind of made some sense to a degree. When he died, and like I started to find out things about his identity that seemed to have been hidden, I was like, yo, he might have did that shit. Because like the fact that he never spoke with his regular voice, his hair, that wasn't his real hair, shit like that like as public as like as public of a figure he was. I mean, of course he kept like a lot of his shit private, but I mean, as big of a figure he was, niggas just didn't know this shit. And I was like, my nigga, if you can hide that much of your identity for that long,
yeah,
that just looked a little wild to me. But then when when people recanted their shit, I'm like, okay, all right, then he ain't do this shit. So, you know, I just, you know, just been cool with Michael Jackson since then. But Cuz did that shit, and that sucks.
Yeah, like I think my experience was similar to Andre's. I grew up never believing Michael Jackson was innocent. I was like, I don't want to call myself old, but I am older than the rest or whatever. But I remember like him being a pedophile being a joke in Living Color. You know, there was like skits and like, you know, people making jokes
On
out
South
of
Park, yeah.
South Park and everything. And even like when I was I got to high school, Cat Williams, he's talking about how, you know, Cat Williams says he has what he does to attract the type of people he wants to sleep with is like have silk pillows, because, you know, women like silk pillows it's good for the hair or whatever. I have silk pillows now for the same reason. And he was saying that Michael Jackson, if I wanted to attract little children, you know, I'd set up an amusement park. So my whole mentality was that like this guy is like, he has a lot of things to be appealing to kids. And I remember like on his own interview, I think it was like with journalist Martin Bashir. He was talking about how he had slept with the boys in bed. It was a pure thing. It was never sexual. I wasn't with that. Like I wasn't with that.
Yes.
So I always just was like, nah. But after, I want to say it was after he died, he got older and everything. I figured that he was innocent because people came forward and they
Sorry, did you say after he died he got older?
After he died, I was older now, and
he woke up dead.
After he died, he woke up older, and then he was dead. No, but seriously, you know, the people who were accusing him said that they like, you know, they set him up, they wanted money and everything. So I was like, all right, fine. I finally started enjoying Michael Jackson's music, like,
right.
And I was like, okay, fine. Like, this guy's innocent. That's cool and everything. I don't know why that was all it took for me. For some reason, it was. So like hearing this stuff is like, it's not unbelievable to me. It's just like, damn, you know, I just gave this guy the benefit of the doubt. Like, so I don't know.
I mean, because the story like it didn't make sense, but okay, if somebody tells you like my parents forced me to do this so they could get paid, like that shit kind of makes sense because like a lot of parents are fucking trash, so that's why like it wasn't hard for me to buy that shit. You feel me?
Right.
And then there was for a long time. I hate to say this because like I don't want to sound at all like, wait, am I coming through right?
Yeah, you are.
All right. I don't want to at all sound like I'm victim blaming. But like those allegations have been around for a long ass time, my nigga. And why are you sending your fucking kids to Michael Jackson house if you know that there's any possibility that he might be doing shit like that? So like all of that together kind of made it seem a little fishy to begin with. So then when I hear my parents forced me to say this, and I was like, okay, that makes sense because like why the fuck would you send your fucking children to Michael Jackson house unless you were trying to get some shit? You feel me? So like it's shit like that kind of made it like hard for me to judge. So like, you know, also like fuck those parents, honestly, like like you like protect your fucking kids better than that, my nigga. Like don't send your kids to this nigga house and you know like since the early 90s, B? Come on, dog.
Like
about the parents my damn self. Situation. Like I feel like a lot of like obviously not every parent, but a lot of the parents in that documentary, like they did not give a damn where their kids were. They did not give a damn what happened with their kids and a lot of them benefited from their kids being in those situations. So like,
wait, did you see the documentary?
I saw parts of it. I saw the parts of the first 2 episodes.
Is it on Netflix?
I'm not ready yet.
I didn't watch it on Netflix. A friend of mine had it TiVoed, but I have not checked Netflix to see if
We're talking about the Michael Jackson one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I seen the R. Kelly. I never seen the Michael Jackson one.
No. I was talking about.
I ain't ready for that one either.
I was talking about the Michael Jackson one.
Oh,
is that out yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't ready for that shit. It's not. It has nothing to do.
I don't think it's out yet.
Oh.
I didn't see the last 2 episodes of the R. Kelly docu-series because like after the first 4, man, it was too much for me. I was just checked out. And I guess like the last 2 were explaining how he's still doing what he's doing. He has like staff people like finding these girls, recruiting them. He's got a sex cult dungeon thing set up here in Atlanta, like in Fulton County.
There was an article about that like 3-4 years ago. Like that's the part that kills me with the R. Kelly thing is everybody acts like this is news. Like we've been knowing this shit for literal decades. We knew about that Aaliyah thing. It was in the media. There were articles in Essence and in everything about it. Like we knew about they were like, oh, R. Kelly is running a sex cult in Atlanta. He has a bunch of underage girls he's keeping in a house in Atlanta. Like there was an article I read about that years ago. And then like everybody sees his documentary and they're like acting like, oh my gosh, I had no idea R. Kelly was doing these things.
Yeah.
I guarantee you all these niggas that act like they don't know shit about R. Kelly raping girls can quote the fucking Dave Chappelle skit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now, okay, making it clear, we're transitioning from Michael to R. Kelly now.
Yeah, fuck it. The thing with the R. Kelly, like that sex cult, I remember reading about that. Okay, there's been like interviews, like they were talking about it on the Breakfast Club, I believe, too. I assumed that obviously he hadn't got charged for anything. I assumed that he was like, shit, I've been caught and shut the shit down. I had no clue it was still like going on. Cause that's fucking bold to like.
It is.
Like
as a nigga.
Yeah.
As a black man, like they just gonna let you get away with this shit.
I had no clue that like this nigga just don't.
Be out about this, and you're still doing it.
Yeah, like the books came out and everything. Like the girl was like talking about how like R. Kelly has like a gay male lover. Which was
more outrage at that, but
exactly. People people got pissed off at R. Kelly for having a gay dude. They went at his I think it's like his assistant or whoever. They went at him on Facebook. Everyone found his assistant's Facebook, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you're gay, all this shit, whatever." And it's like, y'all giving us way more energy about him with the consenting
girls
than with like these little girls.
Yeah.
That's the shit that fucked me up about that dumbass song that he put out that was like 24 and a half minutes long, however the fuck long it was. The I Admit shit, which I skimmed. And like I think he said enough in there to like, I don't know, man. Like I guess lawfully, no, but he said the shit. But it just, the thing that fucked me up about it was this nigga was going in on himself for not being able to fucking read. So my nigga, you more mad at yourself for being illiterate than you are for raping kids. Like, huh?
For me, it was kind of like, it was kind of the same situation for me with R. Kelly, with Michael Jackson, except more so. I would say this probably sounds weird because obviously Michael Jackson was like a bigger artist, but I grew up with more R. Kelly around. Like I listened to more R. Kelly. Like my parents, they never really listened to Michael like that.
Yeah.
They were more R&B, like, you know, actual like soul R&B, 90s, whatever. So I was actually really, I didn't want to believe it. And I'm going to be completely honest. Y'all know how much I love Aaliyah. And so Aaliyah has always been somebody that I looked up to. Like she's influenced me like in so many ways. But I remember being in like middle school and high school and hearing about the marriage, you know. First of all, I didn't even know if it was real. I thought maybe it was just a rumor, maybe like, you know, because apparently they tried to say it was forged, the marriage certificate was forged or whatever. And so I was like, okay, like it probably didn't happen. But even if it did, you know, like she agreed to it. Like, you know, so it's okay. Like, you know, she's, you know, and mind you, I was like around the same age. I was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
And looking back at it, obviously, like now I know that shit. She could not consent because she was 14. But also the fact that I was also 13, 14, and like my first kiss was with a 24-year-old. Like, you know, so it just, I normalized it kind of. It was kind of like, you know, if, you know, I did it, so I mean, and I knew what I was doing, and, you know, she did it and she knew what she was doing, so why is it wrong? But now I can like, you know, as an adult, you can look back on shit like that and be like, whoa, like, you know, that's not okay. Like, you can't, that's not, you know. Yeah, so looking back on it, yeah, I did have some fucked up views about it, but now I can like say he was wrong, especially with the documentary, and I didn't know it was that, like, you know, before. I mean, I heard about it, but like I did not know there was that many layers. Like I didn't know he didn't let his like people speak to each other, and like, you know, I didn't know that he compartmentalized like all his people so that they wouldn't talk about shit. Like that was like really wild to me.
Damn,
so after I saw
that shit
the
was that well
documentary,
organized?
Yeah.
yes, he went
No,
Sparkle, his artist.
He would, have the girls followed by certain people, and like, so they were never, it was like 24-hour surveillance on them. If they did go back home to their parents, they had to be back at this exact time. There were like death threats. When one of the women leaked his sex tape, there were talks of killing her to like silence her after they found the tape, like all this other stuff. Like, I think what my belief is, because I've always, as soon as the allegations came out, the tape came out and everything, I was like, I just believed R. Kelly was a rapist. I had no doubt, whatever. And the thing is, like, my family, same with Alex, my family's way big into R. Kelly. Like, my mom and my dad, they grew up in Chicago. And, like, R. Kelly's just like, you know, he's the king of Chicago. You know? My parents were, even throughout all that stuff, they were, like, supporting R. Kelly. They were, like, whatever, like, happy people. Step in the name of love, all this stuff, whatever. And I was just like, nigga's a rapist. But this is where it's like trash for me. I was assuming that even though this is wrong, he's doing it by being charming. Like he's like lying to these girls, like feeding them dreams and everything. But he's being like, he's like seducing them or whatever. And that's how it would start. what I didn't know until I watched the documentary series was that that's how he started. He was way more abusive than I imagined. Like tying them up, beating them, like actually raping them, threatening them, having them followed, all types of stuff. Like he would once he like seduced them by being charming, he kept them silent and controlled them and forced them to keep coming back by threatening them and like harming them. And that was like the monstrous side that I didn't predict.
Just having this conversation, I know I'm still like for real not ready to watch that shit because like I had a lot of empathy for niggas and like it has nothing to do with R. Kelly. I don't give a fuck about R. Kelly. Like I didn't really grow up on his music like other niggas did. I Believe I Can Fly, Step in the Name of Love. Those are like 2 out of maybe 5 songs that like I like for real heard and like you know what I mean. So like I didn't really give a shit about that, but like I don't think like I could really stomach like hearing people talk about that shit in like personal accounts and shit like that. Like I don't think I could deal with that.
That's what made it tough.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, some fuck shit on my part that kind of like warped how I viewed the whole shit. I knew about the tape. And okay, he did that shit, but I didn't know like the timeline, and it shouldn't have mattered. But I didn't know about the timeline, really. But like when I was younger, I was like, I mean, that was a long ass time ago, and it was like a one-time thing, and that's fucked up. But like, you know, I'm sure he's not doing that shit no more, type of deal. So it was like, Step in the Name of Love would come on, and like I wouldn't be pissed off. But then like when I started hearing about the shit again, it's like, oh, he's still like actively doing this and like preying on like and I was like, okay. Then that was kind of when I shifted how I felt about it. But yeah, that was fucked up.
And like this nigga ruined Space Jam for me. Like that movie used to be my shit. Like when that song came on, you know, and it was like a little video like with him in like the basketball court. Like that shit was so powerful to me, and like now I can't even like the whole movie is just I can't.
At least first album, I can't listen to that shit anymore. I tried after watching.
Yeah, I can't.
And
ironically, that's the only album that's on iTunes. So I mean.
Yep. Yeah, same.
When I watched part of the docuseries, I watched it at a friend's house, and I couldn't finish it because of not only just how heavy the docuseries itself was, but just the commentary that was being made. They weren't necessarily insulting the victims, but there was just always this skepticism, oh, if R. Kelly really did these things, and they're saying these things about R. Kelly, they should be careful. I hope they have the evidence to back it up, because I would hate for him to pursue them for slander, and just all this different stuff. And they're like, it's defamation of character, and I'm like, I really don't understand why we care about the character of a man who serially rapes children. I was like, he has been assaulting underage girls for years. And they were like, assaulting, that's an extreme word. When I was a teenager, I liked older men and I knew what I was doing. And just like,
and they try to put that on the victims, and like they try to normalize that. Like, no, you're still processing that yourself. Like, you know, like,
and I was like, no, is our brains are not fully developed until we are 25. Your prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until you're 25. That is the part of your brain that controls impulses. That is the kind of part of your brain that understands, you know, the permanence of shit. Like, there's just a lot of shit that you couldn't possibly comprehend at 14, and you couldn't be expected to comprehend at 14. And so I hate when people make that argument, and I've seen it a lot about R. Kelly, that, oh, they're children, they shouldn't, or the girls, they should have known better. Because we have this like dual narrative we push on children, where on the one hand we feel like they're supposed to be old enough to know better, but on the other hand we feel like we have to govern and regulate them because they're children. So it's like, do we think they know everything and they should be left to run free and do whatever they want? Or is that just a narrative we use whenever they're harmed, like, or whenever they're in a situation where you know, they behave as children who don't comprehend the situation fully. So that just got frustrating for me.
It's such a fucked up. Sorry, such a fucked up discussion. Like, or part of the discussion to have are the people who feel like because their first experiences, like when they were young, were with older men, and how like they feel like it didn't harm them in any way, and like to have to like tell somebody like, yo, my nigga, like. Not to tell you what your experiences are, but my nigga, you were abused, bro. Like, it's a fucked up thing to have to tell somebody, like, because that's some shit you should have to unpack on your own and shit.
I had a few homeboys who were like brag. They were like they had how they lost their virginity, just like their babysitter, or like the mom's friend, or something. Or like one of my homeboys, he was like, yeah, man, like I had this like 20 older women. By the time I was like 16, I was like, dog, bro, like. You got raped, man. Like, and he was like, no, I didn't. And then like, I was like, okay, like, I'm not gonna tell you what you went through. He called me like 2 weeks afterward, like crying and shit like that, whatever, and was like, because you know what happens is that like, in your mind, you feel like it's wrong even when you're a kid, but everyone else tells you that you're the man, and you know, like now you're a real man, so it's not wrong. So you're like, you make yourself okay with it, and until someone tells you that like it's okay that shit was not okay. Like your initial reaction to it was the right one. Like that shit was wrong. But as far as like watching the documentary with people, I was watching it with two of my friends, and both of them, you know, they were talking about like the girls, well, the women who were like being interviewed. They were talking about their hair, their makeup. They're like, "Ooh, child, I wouldn't have come on camera looking like that." And like, oh, she knew this is gonna be like naturally exposed. Like she should have done this. Like all this shit. I'm over here looking like.
Time out. There were niggas saying that shit about the people in the women in the documentary that were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, nigga. Oh my
they're
God.
talking like.
Because that's the point, right?
Yeah, they're talking about their edges or like how she was dressed. Like, I think Sparkle. They're like how they. One of my homegirls talking about how dare Sparkle come on this on a national thing and like talk about this serious topic while she had like I guess her blouse was like kind of sheer or whatever, like, and she was saying how it's a bad look for her to be up there looking like that, and like, yeah,
bro,
just.
Did you guys see her Breakfast Club interview?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I was actually about to watch it before we started recording this. I saw his ex-wife and his daughter on I want to say it was like CNBC or something like that. Like they were talking about what it's like being, you know, like loving someone who's like that. And they were saying like, you know, we still love him and we still pray for him and hope for the best. But he is a monster, and like they feel bad for what he did to all these people, but at the same time they want him to get help and like all this stuff. They're talking about like his wife was saying like how broken he is, ex-wife was saying how broken he is, and how
he is,
you know, he is a sweet person, and how she knows him. Now this is wild. She was saying how she knows him as this broken, insecure, deeply fearful person who's like just scared all the time and like insecure. But then you hear about like what he does, and it basically sounds like a man who is like very insecure, trying to hurt as many people as he can hurt so he can feel powerful and threaten people, command people, just exert all this power over people instead of dealing with his pain. And
yeah,
that shit sounds...
I mean, look, like that, like he went through a lot as a kid. Not to say it justifies the shit that he you know grew to do, but he went through a lot of shit as a kid, and I feel like, you know, the nigga probably needed some help that he never got, and it kind of just spiraled into a fucking monster. And people don't like to talk about that shit because they feel like, you know, like you're humanizing a demon and like shit like that. But like sometimes we need to discuss that kind of shit because we need, like, niggas need to know, huh?
I think it's important to humanize them. I think it's important to humanize people. So like, so people who, for me, for example, hearing about his childhood and what he went through in his mind state, it reminded me of myself a lot. And so it's like, people need to know that these people who, like, whether it's just whoever you think is the most terrible person on earth, like, you can become that person. The person you know can become that person. Exactly. When I got my money, I went and got therapy. When he got his money, he decided to be an abuser. Like, so it's like, despite what you went through, what you do to help yourself and heal are like, or do you continue to hurt people? Like that shows a lot for your character. So it's valid to point out that he's also a victim. But it's also very valid to point out that he's a victim who decided to pass it on.
Exactly.
As opposed to
exactly.
Because he has money, he has the access to heal himself, but he chose not to do that.
The main reason why I want to talk about
recognizing the humanity of people, like, it's not an excuse, it's not validation.
At all.
I feel like we put these labels on things and it makes us not, like, it makes us less attached to them and less aware of, you know, like Milverton said, our own traumas and our own potential for violence, our own potential to harm people. If you make it seem like, you know, people are only harmed by demons and monsters, then it ignores that the harm we inflict on each other is a very human thing. People who hurt people. And a lot of us hurt people in our own ways, maybe not as an extreme ways and on the level of R. Kelly, but like trying to dismiss violence and trauma and everything as being inhuman doesn't serve us. We should be having conversations about how these are human things. These are the product of human experiences. These are the product of human traumas and abuse. And we should all be having more open conversation about that and owning our own trauma and our own emotional issues so that we can be working through them so that we're not hurting each other, so that other people who have had similar experiences aren't projecting their trauma onto other people. Yeah, sorry, that was it.
And like, just to go off of that, it's like, okay, so myself for the longest, like, after I had gotten my divorce, tried dating around, trying to deal with being cheated on or whatever, I became like this for like a year, perpetual side nigga. I just wanted to be the man who had taken my wife, the next girl, or whoever away from me. I wanted to like feel that power that he must have felt, being like, you know, I took this nigga from, I took your chick, fuck you nigga, stuff like that, whatever. So it's like, that was me passing on pain to like another couple, or just destroying whoever relationships I could destroy. And I think that's another thing that like people ignore as far as like trying to be like a side chick, or like this side chick culture, like side nigga culture or side dude culture or whatever. People like, you're doing it to hurt somebody. It's not empowering yourself. It's not empowering anything. It's you're a hurt person. Like that's a bad thing to do to somebody else, is to be the other person, to like take their spouse, betray their trust. It's flat out a bad thing to do. And that's, you know, leads to our next topic as far as like the side chick, side partner culture or whatever. And, you know, the debates that go on, and like, you know, for the listeners who don't know, there's like this debate that goes on Black Facebook, aka Wokebook,
every 3 weeks.
Yeah, every two weeks. Sometimes, you know, they hold it off for like 2 months. But it's people saying like, you know, with us being pro-ho, pro-sex and everything, pro-orgasms, you know, get it how you want from whoever you want, and you don't have an allegiance to anyone or any loyalty to anyone who isn't your own spouse. So if you sleep with someone's man or their women, it doesn't matter because the person who you slept with should be loyal to their spouse. You shouldn't be loyal to the next woman or whatever. Nina, do you want to talk about this?
I mean, I personally, I feel like there's facets to this. Like for starters, I understand the whole, sexual liberation aspect of it. I understand,
Right.
being pro-ho, being sex positive. But I feel like a big part of like sex positive conversations is boundaries and respect. And also like transparency. And while in that dynamic, you and the person you're having sex with maybe being transparent with each other, there's someone who is in the dark that you know.
Right.
And I feel like for me, as someone who is sex positive, I would not want to be having sex with someone who was being dishonest with me about who else they were having sex with.
Right.
So I wouldn't put someone else in that position. Like, me having sex with you and I know what we're doing, but I know that I'm creating a dynamic where someone else is in a sexual relationship where they don't know what you're doing.
Right.
And so there's that aspect of it. I do understand women who are like, well, with the whole side chick conversation, it's always the woman who gets shamed and not the man. And why is the man not being held responsible for being the one that's cheating? And that's fair and that's valid because misogyny is a thing. And we do put the onus on women as home wreckers and slut shame them, call them hoes or whatever for that act. But I don't agree with we blame them for something that's only the man's responsibility. I feel like we live in a society, we live amongst people, we have close person, we're in proximity to other people and our actions impact other people. And like if you existed in a bubble, that would be one thing, but you don't. And I feel like we kind of have like normalized standards of like not causing harm to other people. So I do feel like it's a breach of promise or understanding for you to cheat on your partner. But I feel like it's also just a dishonest thing to do to cheat with someone's partner, knowing they have a partner and knowing they don't know about it and bring that harm and trauma onto them.
My nigga, I just want to say right quick, that's like the first time I've ever heard a nigga say we live in a society and like they actually had a valid ass point. Like that shit actually meant something when you said it. And like points for that shit, because niggas just be saying shit.
We live in a society just say something like fuck shit.
Yeah. But like she actually like that shit made sense.
And see, like I like how you put it because that's like, that's good for like a debate if someone's like talking about like as far as like patriarchy, sex positive, like all that stuff, whatever. But for me personally, I just feel like if you are a side chick, you don't have to mask it in like, or a side dude, you don't have to mask it in like, I'm being sex positive, like I'm exploring my sexuality, like all this stuff, whatever. Like, just say you're being trash, like, because when I was out here,
right?
When I was out here doing what I was doing, man, and like Alex, you've been a side dude before, like you look like.
Hold on, wait, I gotta get edited out. Hold on. Don't do that.
God damn.
Curly hair.
No.
Just go out that nigga.
But I assume, I'm probably right though. It's like when you out here like messing around with someone else's like spouse or whatever, you're just doing it because you're a piece of shit. Like I knew I was a piece of shit. Like I wasn't trying to be out here like it was something righteous I was doing like for liberation or like all these other shit. It's like you're doing it because like fuck your nigga. So it's like
thing, my nigga,
like fuck that nigga. Like, I used to be like, he can't beat my ass. Go ahead and tell him like this other shit. So it's like, and I know chicks who like tell dudes like, fuck the bitch you with, like whatever, like I'll beat her ass. Imagine getting cheated on and then the side chick beats your ass. Like,
oh my god.
I've seen that happen. Like a woman found out she was being cheated on, and she tried to pull up on the side chick. She thought she was gonna do something,
The
and
two
then she
piece.
got her ass beat. She pulled up on the side chick with her dude in the car, and like she got her ass beat in front of her dude. like how do you go home and like how do you guys have that conversation after you go home after you got your ass beat?
You don't. Did he go home?
All that shit in the crib ain't even yours no more, nigga. You just
Who
hope
did
you
he
got
go
enough money.
His girl?
Huh?
Did he go home with his girl?
Yeah, but I mean, like, what do you say after that? Like, you can call him out again if he's cheating. Like, what are you gonna do?
Right, man.
Like it's in some ways like I don't care about the shit like a whole lot. Like I do, but I don't because like different people's relationship. Like I don't know. People got different priorities and shit, and like different like levels of like weight that they put on certain things, and like some people don't care about infidelity as much as other people and shit.
Right.
But like you as a side nigga don't fucking know that. So like you still ain't shit. And I call it being an accessory to cheating. You feel me? Like because people like to feel like once one person is blamed, then like everybody else is fine. Like we already got this one nigga to blame.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like nah, nigga, this other nigga wrong too. Like this nigga cheated, and you're an accessory to the cheating. So like, it ain't that noble about that shit. If that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do, and that's cool. But like, it's not cool.
That's a point that I kind of emphasize a lot with not just this topic, but in general. I feel like we have this perception that only one person can be wrong at a time, and that's absolutely not true. There's plenty of wrong to go around. More than one person can be wrong at a time. 2 people can be wrong. 3 people can be wrong. 4. Like, there's no limit on the number of people that can be wrong in a situation. It does not mean because I'm wrong.
All the niggas ever play Mario Party, cuz.
So yeah, I just feel like like you said, it's not something that like I'm going around like looking for side chicks and trying to start some crusade to catch side chicks or anything. But I do feel like it's a selfish act that causes harm to other people, and it should be acknowledged as a selfish act that causes harm to other people and not glorified as some liberating thing. Yeah. And like, it's cool if you want to be selfish. If you don't care about other people's feelings and I'm gonna get my nut and fuck whoever's feelings, whatever. But acknowledge that you're saying fuck whoever's feelings, and I don't care who I hurt in the process.
I miss that like period on Facebook, like in society and shit, where like the person who was like fucking someone's like husband or wife or whatever, like was just a savage. Like like bro, just say you don't give a fuck. Like don't be out here and like try to rationalize and shit like you some kind of like Robin Hood for like dick or something like. I don't know, man.
I might be a side nigga one day, bro.
Yeah. Honestly, man, like side niggin is like, is it niggin or nigga? Niggin.
I'll say side nigga.
Side niggin.
I feel like I'll be a really good side nigga. I just can't fit the windows as well as like other niggas.
You have to do all that because like just get a chick with a job. Like the fuck, bro. Like.
True.
She goes to work, and like maybe like her man goes to work, something like that. You come over and shit, or she come over to your place, or like maybe ain't got a place. That's like the best time to be a side nigga when you have your own place. And like you just like you can like cook for them, like massage, like give them like foot rubs, shit like that, whatever, and like lay pipe, and like do all these things, all these boyfriend things, but like never have to deal with her when she's angry because she's just only angry at her man ever. Like anytime she has an attitude, it's always gonna be with someone else. Like it's just hold on.
What is this face you're making?
I'm over here like, wait a second, should I just go ahead and be a career side nigga?
I would definitely be the side nigga to bring like snacks and shit. Like I'm bringing refreshments. You feel me? Like
yeah, like
I'm bringing an experience.
Yeah.
Alex, did you have any thoughts on the subject?
Um. Okay. Well, I don't know. I feel like the whole it's both people's faults. I feel like that leaves like a lot of gray area. In terms of like, what if that person is a sex worker? What if that person was paid to have sex with a nigga? She's supposed to just turn him down and she needs to pay her bills. And also the fact that like, just what if she didn't know?
That's different.
And then she still gets her ass beat because apparently in this society, if you fuck somebody's man, you still getting your ass beat whether you knew or not, and we know that's true. I
Which
don't,
is
I can't
wild to
really
me.
speak for side niggas. I don't know if that happens to them, but I just, it leaves like a lot of gray area, and I just feel like, if you want a quick nut and somebody is supplying dick, and you want to go for it, I mean, I feel like just go for it. Like you don't really owe. You don't. It'd be different if it was like your best friend. Like obviously that's trifling. Like if it was your best friend's man, then But I don't know. I just feel like leaving this whole it's both people's fault. It leaves so much just so much gray area, and I can't really get behind that.
I feel like certain shit is obvious. Like if you a sex worker, like let's get this bread. You feel me? Like you know what I mean? If you ain't know, you ain't know. But like if you know that this is what you're doing and you know that somebody could potentially be hurt by this and you ignore that shit, then like no, you ignoring that shit. And like that's not
But
like
then
there
there's the
like there's no way to
potentially
pay
they
There
that
could
was
other than talking
potentially
trash.
be hurt.
there
Potentially
was
be
one
hurt.
time where a
Yeah,
dude
but
did
what are
confront
the odds that they won't be like if they find out, my nigga?
I would say
Like
most
hold on,
affairs
but there
don't
was
get
one
found
time
out
this
about.
nigga confronted me about like being with his girl, and I just kept emphasizing how like, oh, she has a boyfriend. Like every time he was talking to me, and he was just like kept going, and I legit did not know she had a boyfriend, and he just seemed to like that wasn't clicking with him. And the thing with me, like I'm a pretty like large guy, or whatever. So I think like with Alex, men are way less physically confrontational towards each other than women are in general. Um,
true, true.
because it's like men just size people up, and then it's like, or sometimes like dudes know they can't fight. I think like women, like I think all women can kind of fight.
I
Um,
think no, it's more so that we don't care if we can't fight, and a lot of us are not willing to
That's
accept
what I
we
was gonna
can't
say.
fight, and so we just well, especially when other women are involved,
good point. That's
like
a good point.
like if I feel like we have this perception that there's not really much that a woman my size can do to me that's gonna like kill me. So if
Yeah,
I'm mad enough, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try. like
right.
um, like if they're significantly like bigger or more athletic, we probably think twice. But like if it's somebody my size, I'm gonna try.
Okay.
I
See, like
So
do
would you
I'm
women
say
care as
so?
much? Like do women care as much when they lose fights? That's a question that I've had.
Heavy damage written, not really.
yeah.
I
I
mean, I
feel
feel like
like
as long as it's not videotaped, you're fine.
men
Cause
can't
like, cause like men, when you take an L, like that shit sting for a
like
minute.
I won't fight someone that's like I'm sure like if someone can like start a fight with me, but I won't swing at somebody unless I know like because I don't take L's. I got currently right now I got like 4 L's on my record out of like 50, and like and I like to keep it like that because like your L's like those 4 L's I still think about them, and that's like back in high school and shit. I think about them, and I don't want to take an L as an adult.
Like even shit that wasn't L's, that wasn't like a
Was
very
or someone got the
clear, satisfying dub,
yeah,
my nigga. Like that
or
shit,
like if
that
someone
shit
got the
still
better
like
punch, someone got like the bigger punch out of the situation that like the more memorable.
yeah.
It's like you could have like got him to like submit, but he probably got like a real good clean one on you, and that's all anyone's going to talk about. And that was kind of like
Like
it's not an L, but like no one talks about the fact
yeah.
that fun. Like
Like you don't got no fights that you kind of play back like damn like did I lose? Like I'm not sure if I
no,
lost, but
like
I might have
definitely,
lost.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, I got some of those.
yeah.
They don't sit right.
But also, I gotta remember
Yeah.
that like I'm like large enough where like I'm cognizant of this. I'm s- I'm at the point where a nigga might shoot me because I might be too big to fight sometimes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I won't piss off a dude who's like way too small. Like, okay, for listeners, I guess I'm 6'1", 260. If a guy is under 200 pounds and he's under 5'7", I'd say he's going to shoot me. So I don't piss
I'm
off.
not fucking with angry 5 second niggas,
Yeah,
5'7" niggas. I'm 6'3".
Yeah,
If a nigga 5'7" is talking to me
right.
I'm not a grown ass man, like,
Yeah,
hey
he
yo,
got a
bro,
gun.
like I ain't no bitch, but I'm gonna have to be a bitch today because
For real.
like I'm nah. I'm I'm about to take that L, so I don't have to take that L.
I don't care how pissed off he made me. Like I'm gonna like sit there, like pause, calm down, be like, he talking real crazy to me. Like when I can pick him up, like let me.
I know this nigga knows I can toss him.
Yeah,
He don't care.
like, he knows he's like tossing weight, but he in my face. I might need to walk away.
You ever seen a nigga? You ever seen a nigga just like look through you, dog?
Yeah,
Them is other niggas I'm not fucking.
yeah.
I don't care like if you size somebody up and they look like somebody, like if you looking through me, I'm not fucking with it.
Because
I'm
those
not
like
doing it.
like I feel like they don't care if they die, so you kind of can't beat their ass because like
Exactly.
they stop. Like they won't stop unless you like knock them out, break a leg. You gotta like you have to make them physically unable to move because like
they cannot move.
Yeah, because they don't see shit. Those dudes blacked out. They're so angry they blacked out. They ain't looking at you. They ain't, yeah.
I'm not fucking with it.
There was one dude who back to the side chick shit.
So wait, so let's be clear.
Back around.
So wait, to be clear, y'all are saying it's okay if it's a sex worker or if she didn't know. That's
Yeah.
We're talking about.
I definitely think
like, you can't blame somebody for something you know about.
Yeah, for not having information.
So the sex worker is okay.
And same way I said, more than one person can be wrong in a situation. Like more than one dynamic of this or component of this can be discussed. Like we can discuss not intentionally inflicting harm on people and also not attacking people who may not have been aware of the situation. Like coming for like Milverton said, it's much more common or much more known for women to become confrontational with other women because they find out that they're sleeping with their partner or whatever. Coming for women, attacking women, running up on women about something that they may not even have been aware of is definitely not okay in my book. I think we can have that conversation too. And of course, where sex work is concerned, get your money. Like I'm never going to shame nobody for doing their job.
Even if a sex worker knows the man is married, that's not her job to like care. Like,
right.
Yeah,
that's work.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Like, well, what type of sex worker
plus,
be like, oh no, you're married? Like that's a bad business move.
But I guess I was just a little bit like confused because it's kind of like, okay, so the sex worker, she just wants money, whereas somebody who knows just kind of wants a nut. So money makes it okay, but if you just want like the physical satisfaction, that's not okay.
You don't need to nut to survive, my nigga.
Yeah.
Like nutting is not how you get food.
Money makes it okay because that's business. Like
my nigga, if I can pay for shit.
What?
If I can pay for shit by nutting, my nigga, oh my god, nigga, shit.
I don't. For me, it's currency. Like to me, it's currency. Like I don't know all of it, but whatever.
No, like, have you ever been cheated on?
That is not currency, my G.
You haven't been cheated on? Oh, yeah, nah. There's some shit I can't explain. Because it's like if a dude knows that's like your wife, your boyfriend or whatever, like it's at that point, like he's saying, "I want to fuck you. Fuck that nigga you with. I'm gonna fuck you." Like, so there's a personal thing there. For a sex worker, it's not a sex worker being like, fuck the dude you're with. It's just like, it's fuck you and the dude you're with. Just give me my money. I will not fuck you unless you give me money. So like, there's the difference there because the sex worker does not care about anybody in the situation. But yeah, like someone who's just doing it for personal reasons, it's like
it's a difference between like, okay, this is malice, and like I'm doing this because like I need to eat tomorrow, my nigga. Like I gotta pay bills.
Yeah.
Like my nigga, if you gotta pay bills, like go and fuck my girl, dog. Like I can't, you know what I mean? Like if shit, what I'm gonna do?
I've slept with like. I'm not telling myself. Yeah, let me just chill out. I know people whose wives are sexual. Yeah.
Think about to incriminate the fuck out of himself.
And on that note, I'm gonna take a potty break. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's for maybe another episode or something like that. But yeah, I know people whose wives are sex workers, and then like the dudes are okay with the wives doing whatever as long as they're getting money. But sometimes the wives are lying about making money. They're just doing it because for pleasure. So that's where that's where it gets like that's where it
Damn.
let me see.
That's game, my nigga. Like I ain't gonna lie, I ain't heard of that one.
Yeah, that's where it gets like kind of let me see.
And that's why I said like what I said about being sex positive. Like I am very pro ho. I am very sex positive. I am very pro going after what you want sexually. But again, respect, transparency, boundaries, those are all parts of that dynamic. And all of those things get blurred. All those things get violated when you knowingly and intentionally have sex with someone who is not your partner, else's partner, without that communication. All of those things, if you're knowingly cheating on your partner or cheating with someone else's partner, fully aware of what you're doing, and the other person is in the dark, like that's not a sex positive state. That's somebody who's being put at risk of disease. Somebody who's being put at risk of all kinds of things without their knowledge.
Hey,
I should have the right to say, I don't want to have sex with somebody who's fucking other people. And that right is being taken away from me.
My other thing is like, I have never ever seen someone who was like cheating on their spouse, and like the person who they were like, okay, I guess I won't say cheating. I'll say like having an affair because it's like I'm speaking about like ongoing relationships with someone else. I've never seen the person like who claimed they were being honest to the side chick or the side dude actually be honest to them. Like it's always, oh, you know, my husband's tripping, you know, my wife, she's overbearing, she stresses me out, whatever. And they're like, don't make the wife sound real bad.
Yeah.
So the person who's like on the side, like does not respect the wife, and they feel like, okay, I'm taking care of him. Like he's with me because like I don't stress him out. Like I make him happy. I do all this stuff, whatever. Meanwhile, like the wife or the husband's like a great person. Like, and the person who's like cheating, I mean, obviously, this should be obvious. The person who's cheating is a liar, and they just want to fuck you, and like their spouse is one of the greatest people in the world. And if you get with them, they'll cheat on you too. And also, there's that chance where you're also not the only person they're sleeping with. Like, aside from their spouse, they're cheating on their spouse with you and with God knows how many other people.
So you think if you get with that person, do you think that they're definitely gonna cheat with you? Like they're gonna cheat on you? That's what you're saying. If they cheat with you, they're gonna cheat on you.
Yeah.
All the time. Like
I won't say it's 100% because you know I'm not like I don't have like omniscience. all-knowing vision and stuff. But I would say don't take that chance, like, because I've just never seen a cheater stop cheating because they got with the person who they cheated with.
Alicia Keys. But
So you think Swiss Beats has never cheated
I
on
mean,
Alicia Keys?
I don't think. I feel like we would know about it because they're always like they're celebrities. They would know. They fucking find out their IP addresses. Like
Um,
you
I
know,
mean,
I feel like we would
celebrities get
know.
away with cheating for a long time before they get exposed.
yeah, niggas.
Celebrities
I
get
don't
away.
know.
I mean, celebrities get away with rape before they're exposed. So like,
I mean, Jay-Z been tweeting since fucking he got with Beyonce, and we just found out about that shit. Like what?
Yeah, but that
2013?
nigga got money though.
That's what I was thinking of. I was like, how long did it take us to find out that Jay-Z was serial cheating on Beyonce? Like,
yeah.
Niggas got
or
money.
Tiger. Like when all the women came out saying they've been fucking Tiger for however long, and it was like 100 of them. Like,
Yeah.
nobody
When he
knew
was
that
with
shit
Black
was happening.
China? When she was with Black China? Or wait, when
No, Tiger
when he was with Black
Woods
China?
when he had sexual
Oh,
women
okay.
while he was married.
That
That's
shit was
not
wild. I
Tiger.
did not see that shit coming.
I
did
don't
not
I
see
don't
that shit
assume to
coming.
know anything
Yeah, that was wild.
about people who have like non-disclosure agreement money. Like,
Right.
Listen, I'm making all y'all niggas sign a fucking non-disclosure once I make it. Like,
you're gonna have to put a gun
I'm
in
not
my head.
having all that shit. I'm not. So we're
Wait,
not
wait,
hanging
what'd you say,
out.
Milton?
So
What?
muted. No, everybody fucking sign a non-disclosure because
I
that's
have
too
a
much
force
tea.
for that because I'm not I'm writing a book and I actually have like all your secrets in the book right now. I'm gonna be a millionaire, Latoya Jackson style.
Is he serious?
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't tell if he's joking. Is he serious or?
Yo, I can't draw
Hold
a
on,
star.
Maybe.
Yeah,
So
what?
I need to.
Can't
I'm gonna
draw.
call my lawyer.
I don't think
Trying to figure it out.
I feel like Milverton, if he does have that shit in the book, the shit won't go with the book, like unless you famous. And like if you famous, the shit in the book don't fucking matter. Because like if you're not famous, like your secret, like ain't nobody gonna care.
All
feel
right,
me?
but we already
I was
know
about to
we
say,
all public
I'll be
figures. We
damned.
all public
I'll be
figures in
damned
this bitch,
if
and
I
we know the
give
fucking
anybody
podcast.
20
No,
paragraphs in my book.
no,
Like, how dare
no. Stop
you?
talking,
Who
Milton.
are you?
Stop.
What is
No,
happening
Who are
right now?
because
This shit is
Who
falling
are
apart.
because no, we're not gonna act like
So
it's
this
just
has been
Milverton and
canceled.
like no,
Um,
Nina, wait, hold on. We need to discuss
thank you
this
guys
right
for
now.
tuning in.
like
No,
I'm gonna write a
Nina.
book, like I'm gonna put you in the book so people don't buy it. Long ass chapter.
First of all, no.
You didn't even go to Iowa. Like,
People-
like how many tests did you take?
He didn't even go to Iowa. Oh,
It's your
no, first of all, no. Because no. First of all, okay.
I'm thinking, can you wait? Where is Iowa exactly? Like where?
I don't even
where
know.
Is,
I
where
can't
is
even
Iowa?
point that shit out on the
It's
map. I
somewhere
think it's
around
next to
Indiana.
Wisconsin.
I feel like going from Philly to Iowa just sounds like a bad move. Like that just sounds like a terrible
really
transition.
does.
It's not that far. It's not that far.
Is it not? Are you
I'm closer to
sure?
Chicago.
It's not.
You can drive to Chicago or some
It's not
shit.
the distance.
I'm thinking. I might be thinking about Ohio.
Where is
I'm
Iowa?
pretty
For me, it's
Speaking of
not the
Ohio.
distance. It's the landscape. Like my nigga, Iowa is just one of them places that I think about and I just think corn. My nigga, like
Potatoes.
All right, you guys ain't talking about shit. My wife is in the group chat, so
All right, guys. Iowa
I
is
feel like
to
we
the
should
west
like
side,
have.
Illinois, and we're gonna close out with that.
wait, Alex was saying something. What, Alex?
I feel like we should like close out with like a light-hearted topic, like like a joke. Like I don't know what y'all want to talk about.
We just talked
Like-
about that was a joke.
I mean, is the Iowa part going to make the shit really?
No, it's not. I feel like it's not. But okay.
I'll tell Farachi to even put this part in it. Like,
No, don't. This doesn't make sense. Who wants to watch this? No, nobody. Let's just leave it at the R. Kelly. We talked about R. Kelly. We talked about Michael Jackson, and then we talked about Sidechick culture. That's the three that we need, right?
Yeah, that's good. And then this adorable banter, like to close it all out. Thank you for
No,
listening.
it's not. They were reviewing
Iowa
it
is
so
to the east
underground.
of Illinois, so like it is further than Chicago. I was thinking about Ohio.
They're gonna look at
Hey,
us
will
for
we?
they're
Hey,
looking
will
at us
we?
for like politics, and we don't even know where Iowa is. So I feel like we don't.
Hey,
it's
well, we
not
could. Hey,
inclusive.
nigga, fuck Iowa. Don't nobody give a fuck where Iowa is.
Whoa,
Fuck
bro,
everybody in Iowa.
bro. Alex Potential Bay lives in Iowa. Okay.
I was never under the impression this had to be the first episode. I thought the other two podcasts came out really well. I thought we were waiting to see how they came out in editing. We could always release one of those before this one. We don't have to open with R. Kelly and rape and Michael Jackson.
I
Lives in
like
Iowa.
them, but they were rehearsal. This white lady is trying to make me live with her. But yeah, I thought the videos came out nice, but like technically nobody said that we weren't rehearsing. So like it'll be like I feel like it'll be sketchy if we just like uploaded them without like the group's consent and like you
I mean,
know.
but we could talk to
And
the group
thank
about
you guys for tuning in. This is Canceled. I'm your host, Milverton Saints. That's Andre, aka.
We're gonna edit everything out before your ending. It should have like a clean start.
Okay.
Yeah, for real, because we're talking about what the fuck we're
Hey,
talking. Hold on, wait.
Hey,
Okay,
but
go ahead,
what I
Anton,
think,
go
what I
ahead.
think would be cool though, real quick, is
Hey,
like,
Can we
the
close the
stupidest
podcast?
shit.
Yeah, let me close it.
Let's close it and then we'll talk after. Okay. Milverton, go.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Milverton Saint, your host for the Canceled Podcast with Alexander. What's the name? Nina Monet. And
We're gonna start over. We're gonna start over. I am Alexander Velez, a Velez actor, recording artist, humanitarian, entrepreneur, philanthropist, a future
Light
author.
skinned nigga.
Thank you very much. I guess I'm gonna fucking finish because people want to be fucking rude, but okay.
A Velez, aka Handsome Jafar.
At official A Velez. If y'all wanna follow me on Twitter or Instagram, like I'm lit. Go ahead, follow me.
All right, Nina.
Oh, I thought you were closing.
Go ahead and do your thing.
Say something, Nina.
No, I'm good. I like it better when you do it. I told you
All
that.
right, and Nina Monet, check her out. Wow Wow Fonts. And actually, hey, Wakandre, what's your SoundCloud? Just do that.
Afronaut, AFRXNAUT. It's Afronaut, but the O is an X.
So you're just not gonna plug my SoundCloud? Like, I'm confused. Do I
I
suck?
thought it was official Velez.
No. Well, okay, yeah. I guess, yeah.
And thank you guys for tuning in. That was our. See you guys next time.
Bye.
I fucked that up.